Welcome to another episode of
American Timelines.
I'm Amy, and that's Joe.
And we're History for Jerks. And we are so glad to be back with you with another episode. We're still fucking doing this for some reason.
Yes.
Even though it's in the middle of the end of the school year for Amy, she's stressed out. She almost quit the podcast today when I told you it was time to record. You almost quit.
No,
right?
I didn't quit. I would never quit.
Never quit.
I'll
Can't
be
stop,
much
won't
more
stop.
Relaxed.
Did you
when
say can't stop, won't
summer
stop?
comes, let's just say.
Okay, you'll be more relaxed.
Yeah.
When summer comes. And I think you're pretty relaxed right now because you went to relax before we started recording.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But we have a guest this week. But before I bring him out or in or up or down or whatever it is on a podcast, I have a quick iTunes review to read, and this was from January. It's been so long that we've read them, and that last one we did last week, I got to do it again. So
okay,
because this person's probably mad and gonna not listen, and I think this might be a stranger.
Ooh.
It's just a short review, but they left us a review on iTunes, and we want to encourage this for everybody. So listen, look, cool. You're going to be famous. We'll put you right on. We'll read whatever you say. You can say whatever you want about us, and we'll read it. And actually, we should probably, that one guy who gave us a bad review and hated me.
Yeah.
We spent way too much time reading his review, talking about that guy.
I loved it.
Well, we should encourage people to go doing good reviews, not bad reviews.
I know.
There's a guy named Brent Nelson that hates me. Anyway, okay, this one is by Broadway Star 2B.
Okay.
So I thought maybe it was somebody I know because I work at a performing arts center. So a lot of Broadway Stars 2B. So maybe it is, but maybe not. So January 25th, 2021, Broadway Star 2B's review said, "Perfect marriage of comedy and crime. If you're looking for a history pod with a true crime and comedy bent, you're in the right place. Great banter and largely unknown stories from American history make for a fun listen."
Oh, that's awesome.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Not even Amy's a bitch or anything.
And nothing about you being ridiculous.
Yeah, nothing about me shutting. The other guy, what was the guy's name? Brent Nelson said, if that guy would shut the fuck up, this would be a good podcast.
Yep.
Just let the girl talk. Let the woman talk. And he was probably right. But now, without any further ado, we're going to bring our guest on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very lucky to have this guy. We've been trying to connect for a while, but he's probably the hardest working man in Charlotte, hardest working comedian in Charlotte. We have the self-proclaimed Chuff Daddy of comedy. His clean and witty comedic style is suitable for people of all ages. Named one of Charlotte's up-and-coming comedians in 2017. And the best in the nest from the Queen City Nerve winner of 2020 of comedians. The best comedian in the nest. Sorry.
You're really
God, I'm fucking
butchering this.
But anyway, we have my good friend who's open for Sean Patton and Last Comic Standing winner John Reap. Please welcome Papa Don Garrett, everybody.
Hey, American Timelines. I'm in the building. How's it going, you guys?
What's
how
up,
are you?
Chuff Daddy?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm happy to be on, Joe. I know we've been trying to do this, man, but thank you for having me, man. I've been wanting to come on to be a guest.
Thank you for coming.
I'm so glad you had a night off.
For having me. Thank you, Joe and Amy. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, we love
the fact that you had a night off and then you chose to spend it with us is awesome.
Well, that's it, because Don will probably be doing a stand-up show then every night this week, probably, right, Don? What's your next show?
My next show, we had one last night. My next show is Friday.
Okay, you got one Friday night. Where's that one at?
It's gonna be at Rosie's, Rosie McGill's. It's like a wine bar place in Noda. Show is sold out, so
so you can't get tickets. Good for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of funny comedians on that show. I mean, a lot of hardworking comics, very hilarious, funny. So, man, I'm in great company for that show. It's gonna be awesome.
What's your next show that people can still get tickets for?
The next one that people can still get tickets for is at World of Beer Wednesday night.
Ooh.
I'm hosting.
So
it's a free show. We just put the tickets on Eventbrite for convenience. And so I'm hosting that. So we have funny comics coming. It's at the Epicenter at the World of Beer. It's a
downtown
free show.
Charlotte.
You can get downtown Charlotte.
Is that 26th? The 26th of May?
That is today is the 17th. That's the 19th.
Oh, it's this Wednesday. Oh, so 2 days
night.
from now.
2 days from now.
Okay, wow. So cool. So World of Beer, actually, That will be tonight when this is released. This is going to be released on Wednesday. So you're listening to this in the morning. I'll put it out in the morning. Tonight, if you're bored, go to see, even if you're not bored, go to World of Beer and check out Papa Don. He's hosting the show. Don Garrett, everybody. Yeah, so Don is a super funny guy. I think I've wanted you to be on this podcast for a long time. As soon as I started having guests, I was like, Don, can you get on my podcast?
Yeah.
And we've been kind of like playing tag, and then Don's real busy, and we had him scheduled. Gosh, what, about a month ago or something? And you had something come up.
About a month. I had to take my mom back to Virginia. She decided that with me being her only child, she wanted to come to Charlotte for a week, and she wanted to be chauffeured from Virginia to Charlotte and back.
Yeah.
So with me being her only kid, I had no choice but to oblige.
That's right.
So that's what it was, man. So yeah, I had to take mom back. But I'm happy to be here tonight, man. Thanks.
Well, that's okay. No, yeah, I couldn't believe we got you anyway because just how busy you are. But so Don Garrett, check him out online. He's got a website, dongarrettcomedy.com. Is that right?
I think
or is it
dlgcomedy.com.
Oh, DOG. Oh, yeah. Just look up Google Don Garrett. You'll find him right away.
Yeah, you'll find me.
Funny guy, and Charlotte's his home, but he travels everywhere, so you can see him throughout the country probably. But Don is very funny. We met at the Queen City Comedy Experience, which he performs at every year, and we're glad to have him. Very, very, very funny. I love the whole Chuff Daddy bit. That's so funny. I was telling my kids all about it. My kids were like, "Who's Don Garrett?" I said, "Don Garrett's going to be on our show." "Who's Don Garrett?" "He's the Chuff Daddy."
Hey, that is
my daughter thought that. Yeah. She thought that was so funny.
That is
that
no
whole
shame
thing.
in my game. No shame.
Yep. Yeah, she loves that. That's very funny, and that's the thing. You're family friendly, so that's cool.
Yes,
that's very marketable, and will get you work all the time. Which you know that, I'm sure.
For sure.
But feel free not to be family friendly on this podcast.
For this, you don't have to be. Yeah, you can say whatever
you
want.
You can be, or you don't have to be. Yeah. Either way, we go with you. We're not going to be.
We won't be.
That's what I love. I will not be either.
Okay.
I will not be.
Drop whatever bombs you want. You can tell me to fuck off, Don Garrett. You've always wanted to, I'm sure.
No, never, Joe. I've always wanted you to fuck on. I've always.
Right. That is right.
I will fuck on. All right, so we're gonna jump into the timeline. We're in March, and I actually don't have anything until March 18th.
Good.
And we're gonna do March and April this episode.
Yes.
Because Amy had trouble finding anything in March, but that's good. And so I promised her, one thing I do is I drone on and on and on a lot. And so I promised her, since we're doing 2 months in one episode, I will just go fast. I will just give little bullet points, and that's it. And I'll move fast.
Yes.
I'm going to try that.
Okay. We'll
no
see
guarantees.
How it goes.
We'll see how good. You got to either be proud of me, or you're going to be like, you suck at that. So here we go. We're going to go fast. Like a night court when they had to do like 45 cases in one night.
Yeah.
Don Garrett probably doesn't know what night court is.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with it. My references go beyond my years, Joe.
That's right.
Good.
My references go beyond my years.
Yeah, because you might have an old audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that was my favorite.
Yeah, that's good. Old people. March 18th, right?
Yeah.
It was the first plastic lens for cataract patients were fitted. March 18th of 1952 at the Wills Eye Hospital in Philadelphia by Sir Nicholas Harold Lloyd Ridley, an English ophthalmologist who happened to have a stammer growing up, and as a child, he met and sat on the lap of Florence Nightingale, a close friend of his mother.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Don't you think, Don?
Yeah, there is.
I'm trying to go quick.
There is, Amy. First of all, I need 6 names before I can sit on anyone's lap. I
know, right?
Like a requirement.
And eye stuff just grosses me out. I just want to say that right off top.
Yes, Amy.
You know, like putting a plastic lens. Like, I know we do it now, but like the first person to do that, I don't know.
Cataracts
had to be a little bit of a psychopath.
I was getting cataracts. Yeah, somebody had touched their eyeball. I was got cataracts mixed with conjunctivitis.
Isn't that bad breath?
No, conjunctivitis is when you got like shit oozing out of your eyes.
Oh.
I had a dog that had that one time. It was just like shit pouring out of her eyes.
Oh, man.
And so my stepdad had cataract surgery, and I wanted to stay away from it because I thought, oh, you got shit coming out of your eyes, but I guess it's not. Anyway, this is a cataract lens, 1952. That seems significant, and that's all I got. But I go quick. March 20th was the 24th Academy Awards.
24th.
Only the 24th in 1952. And the big winner was An American in Paris. It won the Best Picture. Humphrey Bogart and Vivian Leigh won actor and actress. And if you want to hear Amy and I talk about An American in Paris at great length, we both thought it was a shitty movie, and we talked about it on another podcast called Who the Fuck Is?
That's our Scottish podcast.
Our Scottish friends. We have these friends from Scotland that do a podcast, and they have us on once a month or once a quarter. I don't know. Once in a while.
Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon.
Every time we move on to a new year, they have us on to talk about whatever the best picture was.
Oh, that's
anyway,
pretty awesome.
So there was a whole episode where we talked about this movie, and it sucked. So we don't want to talk anymore.
No, the episode didn't suck. The movie sucked.
Yeah. No, the episode was good. Those Scottish guys are great. It's called Who the Fuck Is? WTFI. There's a lot of Who the Fuck Is podcast though, so you got to really search for that one with Daniel and Nathaniel and John.
Yeah,
I think are the guys' name. Anyway, so I'm going fast, right? I'm already on my third thing. I'm moving to the
third
thing.
All right, let's see. Let's do it.
March 21st and 22nd. This one's going to be hard. This is where it's going to slow down because I got a lot about this.
All
March
right.
21st and 22nd. Tornadoes in Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky caused 343 deaths.
Gee.
Whoa.
It was an extremely violent and deadly tornado outbreak. Struck the Mississippi and Ohio valleys. Tennessee and Arkansas took the brunt of the outbreak.
And you said this was just 2 day time span?
Yeah, over 2 days.
Oh my God.
It was like 10 different. It was 11 F4 tornadoes.
Whoa, that's only one step below F5, which is the max.
That's the big one. And so think about it, and this is 1952, so it's not like you don't get an alert on your phone.
No.
You're not on Twitter.
That's why so many people died.
Yeah,
probably, because
people
they
didn't even know. You didn't hear about it till somebody came running and said, "Oh fuck, I was just in a tornado."
Yeah.
And I got a story about it.
Then you get in the cellar. I just think of Wizard of Oz. You get in the storm, the cellar.
You get in that thing. Yeah, so it killed 29 and 50 people in Tennessee and Arkansas, respectively. 27 of the 31 tornadoes. I guess there's 31 tornadoes, but 11 were F4s. 202 of the 209 fatalities, 1,133 of the 1,212 injuries were on March 21st alone. This was the fourth highest amount of violent tornadoes in one outbreak as of 2020.
I wonder why. I wonder if there's some scientific reason why
the weather thing. I mean, it's
why
tornadoes
all
happen.
Those tornadoes happen at the same time.
Paxton when we need them.
Right?
Wow. That's kind of like a striking fear. For some reason, like I will watch footage of a tornado or something on TV. But God knows if I'm ever caught in one, I'm as good as dead.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna freak. I'm gonna tense up, and I'm just gonna get slung from here to Cabarrus County. Like,
but that if this is really gonna make it worse for you. And I'm sorry that I'm doing this.
I'll make it better.
But
I got something to make it better.
Thanks, Joe.
They sound like a freight train, a tornado. And there's YouTube videos you can look up the sound of a tornado, and you can hear it like it'll be somehow in the tornado, the cell phone, and you hear it, and it sounds just like, and it gives you goosebumps. It's so creepy.
It's so creepy because it's such destruction.
Yeah.
But I grew up in tornado area, Ohio, Northwest Ohio, really tornado.
Missouri for me. So
it's always like the cloud. It's like the wind everywhere else goes away. It's a windy, messy day. There'll be tornadoes. Then all of a sudden you look outside and the trees aren't moving at all. It must mean there's a tornado. I guess because it takes all the wind away or something. It all goes into that. I don't know. I don't understand how it works. I've been always deathly afraid of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
But probably, Wizard of Oz probably made you scared of them. But here's why maybe you don't need to be as scared, Don, because during this one, there was a snippet from the Northwest Arkansas Times out of Fayetteville, not Fayetteville, North Carolina, I guess Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Okay.
And this little snippet I found online read, D.C. Phipps of Little Rock was driving a transport truck near Judsonia when the winds came. Suddenly, a house came flying across the highway and smashed into his truck.
Oh, my God.
But Phipps suffered only scratches.
What?
And he hitchhiked into nearby Beebe with one of the first reports of the disaster. That's how everybody in that town found out about it. This guy hitchhiked and said, "Hey, My truck just got hit by a house.
Oh my god, that's a great story.
Tornado,
yeah. Imagine being that guy and like, oh man, all the game that he possessed after that. If you walk up to a bar of ladies and say, "Hey, truck got hit by a house, I survived," you're leaving out with a girlfriend. Like you are.
You got to.
Right.
You have nothing to lose at that point.
That is bad assery.
And then he
Get
saves
by.
the town.
Yeah, well, he warned
He warned them.
He warned everybody.
The Paul Revere of tornado country.
Right?
The tornadoes are coming.
Yeah.
Well, his name was DC Phipps, and he could be the creator and inventor of Mr. Phipps pretzel chips. Remember those?
Yeah.
From the 80s? No? I just you were all happy, and then I just ruined it. That's really...
Yeah, it's I saw it online, and I lost respect for you.
You saw...
I saw you posting about that. Online.
Oh, I recently did post because I came across Mr. Phipps pretzel chips, and I watched that commercial. I remember when those came out. I couldn't wait to try them, and then they were defunct before I could even try them. That's probably 1989 that came out.
Oh my god! All right.
Okay, so I have some notable people from Judsonia, but I'll skip that unless you know who Beth Ditto is.
No.
No.
Shoot,
never heard of her.
I just scrolled to the end of my document. I always do that. Oh, okay. Shh, hold on. Sorry, I'll cut this pause out.
If you remember, because
There's like a button to push where it scrolls all the way to the end, and I always accidentally hit it. Okay. March 21st, that same day as that second day of the tornadoes.
Yeah.
Alan Freed presents an event called Alan Freed Presents the Moondog Coronation Ball at Old Cleveland Arena. Had 25,000 people attend. Mm-hmm. And this is known throughout history as possibly the first ever rock and roll concert.
Oh.
It wasn't planned to be a rock and roll concert. It was really going to just be a dance.
Oh, wow.
But you got to think, it's 1952. Rock and roll kind of
just starting.
Wasn't really invented yet.
Yeah.
Like nobody called it that. It wasn't a kind of a music.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just look at 1952 rock and roll. I don't even know that I would call it rock and roll. It's kind of like doo-wop or something, swing or country. Or it's not like rock and roll, but
crooning.
Yeah, it's like crooning. But Alan Freed was this guy who had joined WJW Radio in 1951 in Cleveland as the host of a classical music program. But he took up a different kind of music at the suggestion of Cleveland record store owner Leo Mintz. He had noted with great interest the growing popularity among young customers of all races. Everybody started liking rhythm and blues records by black musicians.
Yeah.
And that was like a phenomenon. It was like everybody's listening to black music. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a thing that white people ever did before, I think. And it was a different kind of music. Black musicians were like, they created rock and roll. Like they've created everything good in music that we've ever had. And actually, I'll go a little bit further. Anything good we've ever had was
pretty
made
much
by a black person.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much.
Like everything. Like, but especially music. Like rock and roll. Like every good rock and roll classic song was stolen.
And that's the thing.
If it wasn't a black artist, it was stolen by a white artist. So everything Elvis did was
taken.
Big Mama Thornton did, or somebody else did that was better than him. And so that's a big. I actually took a rock and roll history. I took like I minored in Black Studies. It's a weird thing that I did. Yeah, in college. Just because I just took so many classes, I was like, hey, can I do anything with all these classes that I took?
Yeah.
Because I took like black music and black culture, black history. And so I ended up so I know a lot about the rock and roll thing. But so that's why this interested me.
Right.
Because I think I learned this then, but I didn't remember.
Anyway, I'm changing
go ahead.
I'm changing your name on my phone from Joe Hunsaker to Cousin Joe. I'm changing your name to Cousin Joe.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean that's what I appreciate African American people very much. So I appreciate you, Don.
I appreciate.
If you don't
you,
know, if you're
listening,
if you're just
I
if you're
appreciate
just listening,
you too.
Don is an African American gentleman, which I don't know.
Don't sound like you do it. It does not sound this voice. This voice is very.
It is higher pitched, I would say. You do have that higher register. Does anybody ever think you're a lady on the phone?
All the time. I used to call DirecTV for my grandma when I would order pay-per-views and I didn't want her to find out about it. So I would call DirecTV to dispute, and they would always go, "Well, yes, ma'am, and I just stopped correcting them. I was like, all right, it is what it is. As long as you take this pay-per-view off, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, at least your name is Don. So once you say your name, they have to know. There's not a lot of ladies named Don. Unless it's
No.
Yeah,
Donna.
not yeah.
I have a buddy who's got a real high voice, and his name is Morgan. So everybody always thinks he's a lady.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say Don has a real high voice. You make
It's
it
not real high. No,
No.
the other guy
I
has a real
know,
high
but
voice.
you made it sound like they were the same.
No, this guy's got a real high voice. But Don doesn't have a real high, but it's a little bit higher.
Yeah, it is, man. I'm not for sure if I ever had that, whole puberty swing thing. So this is this is what we working with. This is what we work with.
It works.
But anyway, yeah. So we are your cousins now. But so Freed, this guy Alan Freed, he actually was considered to have popularized the term rock and roll. He was using it on that Cleveland radio station.
Now, is he white or black?
He's a white guy. Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? You better find that out.
I'm sure I think I looked him up. I did look him up. He's a white guy. Yeah, he's a
okay.
And so is the other guy, Mintz. What did I say that guy's name was?
Mint Julep.
Mint Julep. Leo Mintz. Yeah.
That was
you can just
it.
picture an old, bald white man. Maybe he's not. he's a balding white guy. Yeah, so they're both white guys. But
okay.
I think that was the thing, is like they were noting that this was sort of like everybody was liking this, which didn't happen in 1952. So anyway, but Freed was always using the term rock and roll, and it started in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why Cleveland has like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and stuff. So I think it's in a lot of circles, it's like the place where rock and roll kind of started. So once they saw the popularity of this new program that they started, that was kind of like a rock and roll program, the popularity was huge. So they decided to hold a live dance event featuring some of the artists whose records were appearing on Freed's show. These artists were Paul Williams and the Hucklebuckers, and they had a song called "The Hucklebuck." I remember that. The Hucklebuck, yeah. And Tiny Grimes and the Rockin' Highlanders. That was an African American instrumental group that appeared in kilts. And then also on the bill were the Dominoes, Veretta Dillard, and Danny Cobb. So again, these are all like if you listen to these now, it's old school, it's very dated.
Yeah.
But it does take the white doo-wop type of thing and make it better. Like they just add soul to it, which makes it better listening. But yeah, so yeah, and we all know rock and roll came from the blues. I'll stop that. But at this event, so what happened was more tickets were printed than the arena's actual capacity, partly due to counterfeiting and partly due to a printing error. So they had an estimated 20,000 people trying to crowd into an arena that held slightly more than 10,000.
Oh man.
Yeah, so there was worries that a riot might break out as people try to crowd in. According to reports, the fire authorities shut down the concert supposedly after the very first song by the opening act, Paul Hucklebuck Williams, ended. And Freed had to make a public apology on WJW the next day. Mm-hmm. But there are other people there's accounts in newspapers that you can find that said, no, it didn't. There were several acts that played. It didn't end after the first song. Oh. So I don't know. You know how things back then were just there's so much hearsay. You don't really know. There's no recordings. So some people said that there were other things. It was supposed to start at 10, but there were frustrated people gathering outside, unable to buy a ticket at $1.75. That's how much it costs to get in.
Oh, I love it.
$1.75.
Yeah.
Yeah, their number increased. They did say that about 6,000 people were waiting outside that couldn't get in, estimated by the Cleveland police. And people started storming the arena, knocking down panel doors, and it wasn't really like a riot or anything. They got control and then ended it. But one thing they did note is the idea was all their listeners were very diverse. It was like, this is actually one music that brings a diverse crowd. But journalist Valena Williams, she reported that it really wasn't. It was the crowd was mostly African American. There was like less than 10% white people there.
Wow.
So it didn't quite get that hope of bringing everything.
Of crossing over.
Yeah, of crossing over, really. But anyway, it was still, that is the first ever rock and roll show.
That's pretty dope.
1952.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So now you know. It was in Cleveland.
Cool.
And then I'll do this next one real quick because it's sports. We're getting in the sports section. Don and I
Yeah.
are both about to talk about some sports right
Yes,
here,
indeed.
Amy.
I'll take a nap.
But this, but
Wake me up
Don,
when you're done.
my challenge is that Amy doesn't know sports or even like sports at all. So when there's something amazing, I have to really like try to explain to her why it's cool.
Right.
Sometimes I get it.
And this first thing I think I can explain is amazing. And I don't even like hockey, but March 23rd, the New York Rangers blew out. They blew a 6-2 lead, losing 7-6 to the Chicago Blackhawks. Bill Mosienko scored the fastest hat trick in NHL history. 21 seconds. He scored a hat trick. Papa Don, do you know what a hat trick is in
That is
hockey?
3 goals.
Okay, 3 goals. So are you a hockey fan?
No, I just know I just know a little bit about it. I tune in when
Yeah.
they fight, but
Yeah, me too.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I like.
I'll
Yeah,
tune in. I want to go to a Hurricanes game so bad, man.
because they'll fight, right? They'll fight at those games.
Oh yeah, they will. I got to check it out.
I've been to a few college games and they don't let those guys fight, which isn't as fun.
Boo.
But I'm not a hockey fan either because I don't really know the rules. I don't even know how to ice skate.
Why do they let them fight? I mean, they don't do that in any other sport.
I think just for what we're talking about to make it more entertaining for guys like me and Don.
Yeah,
but
pretty
they've
much.
got these big sticks and then these really sharp blades on their feet.
But they don't use those. They take off the gloves. They don't use the sticks. They throw them down and they just punch.
Yeah.
They punch the hell out of each other's faces.
It's like a mixture of boxing and
pretty
field
much.
hockey or something on ice.
It's a weird conundrum about the world or around America. I don't know if they do that in other countries. Canada does too, I'm sure. But like France, do they play hockey and do they punch each other? I wonder.
You have to find out.
It seems like a weird. I've always wondered that too. Why do they let them fight?
Yeah, that fighting, unless it's like MMA or boxing, any other contact sport per se. Yeah, fighting is like banned.
Yeah,
right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like it. I don't know why, but the big thing I want to talk about a hat trick. I didn't know what a hat trick was for a long time, but a hat trick is where you score 3 goals in a game. And Amy, just so you know, that's really rare.
Yeah.
And to do it in 21 seconds, like a lot of games, like that
3 goals in 21 seconds.
That game was 7-6, and part of the reason I don't like hockey, there's usually a long time without scoring. A lot of the games will be 1-0 or 2-1. Like you watch the whole game and there's only 3 goals scored. Like, fuck, I don't want to watch that.
Oh,
that's like baseball to me.
It's hard to score.
Yeah,
it's boring.
Yeah, so it's just hard to score. So this guy scored 3 goals in 21 seconds. You can't even get down the thing in 21 seconds. I don't know.
That's crazy impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. And there's no video of it because it's 1952.
No. Right.
But so that's the reason I kept that in. And our friend Brian, who's a big Blackhawks fan, probably loves both Bill Mosienko. But that's going to bring us to March 26th. And Papa Don Garrett's going to take over the 14th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Are you going to tell us about that, Don?
Yes, indeed, man. Yeah, this occurred, of course, in 1952, and the game was played between the Kansas Jayhawks and also the St. John's Redmen. Well, Kansas decided to beat the dog shit out of St. John's by a score of 80-63. I found that it was hilarious. Kansas's head coach is named Phog Allen, but the Phog is spelled Phog.
Oh, nice.
That's like a rapper name.
Yeah, it is. So I'm guessing he must have been a very important person to where his
Lil
parents,
Phog.
Lil Phog, Lil PH, Lil PH. I found it very interesting that there was a third place game that was played between Illinois and Santa Barbara, and Illinois won because they don't do second or third place now.
Yeah,
that's right. They don't do second or third.
They don't do runner up or anything. Not at all. Kansas's top player was named Clyde Leveillette. I think he may have performed in that first rock concert that you were just talking about, Joe.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, with the name like Leveillette, he had he Clyde and the Levelettes. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
right.
He fits right in.
He was named most outstanding player, and he also scored the most goals. Baskets in
baskets. You got to mix it with the hockey.
I did. Yeah, in the tournament, there were 4 regional sites where the games were played. One was, of course, in Raleigh. There was one, I also believe, in Chicago. There was another one, Kansas City. Missouri. And then the 4th and final regional game was played in Corvallis, Oregon.
Oh, Never heard of that.
And it's like, have you ever just been building momentum in something and then it just gets sucked out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Corvallis sucked that out for me.
Yep.
I was expecting LA and maybe Miami, you know, a little bit of cocaine.
Yeah, I was saying those were all big cities, and then
yeah, and then
Corvallis.
Corvallis. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it was, man. It was good. I learned a lot reading about that.
Yeah, so isn't that cool? So we force you to learn something.
Yeah, you did. Thanks, Professor Joe and Amy. Amy's an educator. Thank you, Amy,
Yeah,
for
that's
all
right.
that you do.
I try
is
to
a
connect
teacher.
with my students.
Always. Thank you,
Yeah.
Amy, for all that you do.
Oh, you are welcome. Sometimes.
What was?
Sometimes no.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes
not, yeah.
the world, not you, specifically
Not Don,
That's
not
okay.
Don Garrett.
as in the world. Sometimes you're welcome, and sometimes no, you're not welcome. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
What? So what was that Phog guy's last name?
Phog Allen.
Phog Allen, baby.
Phog
Phog
Allen. Now, what's funny about rappers, Joe, is that you don't find out their real names until they get indicted, and
Yeah,
that
that's what you said.
Then you find out
that his name.
that's true.
That
Yeah.
his name is Cleophas Lincoln III. I'm like, there were two
Mhm.
before you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, I found that hilarious.
Oh.
You don't find out the aliases until something goes down.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
funny. One time, I'll never forget. I had to go to. I can't remember why I had to go. I had to go to traffic court for something. Like I didn't get my license fast, or I didn't get something. My plates in North Carolina soon enough. I got a ticket, and I had to go to the Union County courthouse. And I just loved listening to all the names they called to come up to the thing. You know, my
Yeah.
favorite was there was a guy named Conroy Parchment, and I was like, Conroy Parchment. Oh, who's Conroy Parchment? That's the coolest name ever. Conroy Parchment.
Conroy Parchment.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
that
so
is
cool.
kind of
Somebody else's first name was Fellatio, but I think she
Whoa.
might have just pronounced it wrong. The lady that was calling. She was
Oh
like,
no.
I was like, Fellatio. Did you just say Fellatio?
Felicio Jackson.
You never know.
I can't remember what the last name was because Conroy Parchment made me forget. But
Oh man, Felicio.
yeah, I want to meet this Conroy Parchment guy. I almost went up to him and signed him to a record deal right there, even though I don't work for a record company.
Right.
I was like, you got that name?
He
You're going
would
to
have had
sell.
you arrested.
Think of what he could sell just by using his name, Conroy Parchment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to that Conroy Parchment concert. Yeah. Well, thanks, Papa Don.
Yes, thank you
No,
for covering that.
Yeah, thank
That
you
was
guys.
good.
I appreciate you having me in sports. Back to Joe and
Yeah,
Amy.
that's good. Yeah, I gave Don his choice to pick whatever he wanted, and he picked that. Did you watch the tournament this year? You watched the NCAA ever?
I couldn't watch too much of it, Joe. I'll be honest, Joe and Amy, man. I couldn't watch too much. Without a crowd, it just wasn't the same. And this is coming from a guy. I'm a UNC fan.
Okay.
This is coming from a
Tar
guy.
Heels.
Yes, indeed. This is coming from a guy that watched Duke and UNC play in the final of the ACC tournament back in 2019.
Oh yeah, you were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh wow,
I was there.
Cool.
It was so amazing, man. At the time, you know, the hype was around Zion Williamson. So watching him in person, man, it was crazy. And he caught a steal, and he came down towards our end of the floor on a breakaway jam.
Yeah,
place went nuts, Joe. It was crazy.
I bet. Yeah,
that
was cool.
And yes, Amy, we were all screaming like Neanderthals. We were, we were out for blood, Amy.
I bet.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Yeah, I was double fisting beers. It was amazing.
Yeah. Amy's been to a few games. Like,
yeah,
I always claim that I always accuse her of doing the old bait and switch. When we first started dating each other, she would act like she was into football. She'd go to bars with me and watch football, and I would, explain the rules. She acted like she gave a shit. And then once we were,
that's back when I drank a lot of beer.
That's true. You were there for the beers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But once you lured me in, you stopped caring about the sport. Like, you knew that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get.
I didn't have to
anymore.
pretend anymore.
Yeah, you didn't need to because
she's like, I got what I came for.
Yeah, she got it, so she didn't need to. Okay, we still got to get to April, so Amy can cover her thing.
Right.
I'm going to try to keep going fast. Don Garrett kept its pace going. That's good. March 27th, the musical comedy Singing in the Rain was released in New York City. It premiered at Radio City Music Hall, directed by Gene Kelly and Stanley Donen, starring Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds. Yes. Singing in the Rain.
Yep.
You ever hear that?
Yes.
Are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Do you love it?
No. I mean, I'm not that real familiar with it. I've seen
Don
it.
Garrett, do you know Singing in the Rain?
I have not seen it, but I'm familiar with it.
Singing in the Rain. A bunch of white people dancing on walls.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Basically, that's what it is.
But I'm going to give you a little info about it. It was directed and choreographed by Gene Kelly, like we talked about. And Gene Kelly apparently was a dick to everybody. Like he was mean on
I love
set.
the tea.
He was really mean to Debbie. Yeah, to Debbie Reynolds. This is like one of her first things. So you might know Debbie Reynolds. I mean, maybe you know Debbie Reynolds, but she's Princess Leia's mom.
Oh,
Carrie Fisher's mom.
Carrie Fisher's mom.
Yeah.
I know she's done a lot of other stuff, but
Yeah.
I know her as that. But I know her as Star Wars mom. But she's like actually like super famous and like a classic actor, I guess.
Mhm.
But
Liz Taylor stole her husband from her.
Wait, Liz Taylor stole her husband?
Debbie Reynolds Debbie Reynolds' husband from her.
We talk about tea.
That heifer.
I know. Yep.
Well, Debbie Reynolds remarked many years later that making this movie and surviving childbirth were the two hardest things she'd ever had to do. The filming experience was really unpleasant due to her harsh treatment by perfectionist Gene Kelly.
Oh.
Decades later, Gene Kelly expressed remorse about his behavior, and he said, "I wasn't nice to Debbie. It's a wonder she still speaks to me." And she said she lived with her parents at the time and had to commute to the set. She had to wake up at 4 a.m. She was only 19. She had to get up at 4 a.m. and ride 3 different buses to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to avoid a commute, she'd just sleep on the set. And then she's got this guy yelling at her about her dancing and everything. Like, it was all that.
Man, yeah, that's
so
terrible.
Gene Kelly, I guess, was a fucking asshole.
Jerk.
And he sucked in American in Paris, so screw him.
Yeah.
So Donald O'Connor's the co-star. He's this kind of lanky guy, I guess. I remember him because there's a scene, all I remember from this movie is that he dances off the wall. He jumps on the wall and dances off of it. Like he jumps and like takes 2 steps on the wall and comes back down, which
right.
I guess it's really, really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he fucked up his feet and his ankles and they made him do it over and over.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this guy said, I was smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day back then.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Man.
Getting up those walls was murder. They had to bank one wall so I could make it up and then through another wall, whatever that means. We filmed the whole sequence in a day. We did it on a concrete floor. My body just had to absorb this tremendous shock.
On a concrete floor they did that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and he
murder on your feet.
He said it was getting so hard he thought he'd have to commit suicide. And he came back on the set 3 days later, and everybody was clapping for him, and they were like, what a great number it was. It came out really great. Do you think you could do it again? And jokingly, he was like, yeah, sure, anytime. And they said, we're going to have to do it again tomorrow because no one had checked the aperture on the camera, and they fogged out all the film.
Oh, no.
So I guess they thought it came out great, but it didn't. It went really well, but so the next day he had to do it again. He said by the end, his feet and ankles were massive bruises.
Oh.
So that's the 2 things. So if you ever are watching that movie, I don't know why you would. It's got that Good Morning song, that Good Morning. Anyway, but if you ever see that, that's the big thing. They'll just show a clip of him dancing on the wall. Now you know something about it.
Yeah, I do.
So you can tell future children or whoever about that.
Don't take shrooms and dance on walls.
Yeah, that's right.
don't
4 packs of cigarettes though in a day. How is there enough time to smoke that many cigarettes?
Well, he must have been smoking while he was dancing.
That's what it says. 20 in a pack. That's 80 cigarettes
a
God,
day.
That's constant.
How could he smoke 80 in a day? You got to just light one after the other one.
That is literally overkill.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Oh, man, it makes me want to smoke a cigarette.
Well, I guess actors, they have a lot of downtime on sets. When they're doing like movies and things. So I'm guessing he probably found that time in his trailer to go through like 2 packs and do a scene and go through the other 2.
Well, back then they also smoked on in the movie a lot of times.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So maybe they're smoking in the movie too.
Oh.
And then you wonder if they have the consistency thing. Well, when you did this part of the scene, you had a full cigarette.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Now you got to smoke another one.
Smoke another one because we got to retake, maybe. That's what they say watch for. Watch for the cigarette lengths in movies, and you can catch discrepancies.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. I have noticed something like that. I have.
Mm-hmm.
Where somebody's cigarette grows, like it grows backwards the other way.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
I was watching the episode of I was watching Invincible, which is the superhero show on Amazon Prime.
Oh man, I watched that. That's a crazy show.
It is. Omni-Man.
That first episode is all normal, cool action, and at the end, Oh my God! Everybody's heads exploding.
Omni Man would never get anything for another Father's Day for as long as I lived. Fuck that guy. Even in the I can't talk. Even in the animations, I noticed that the main character Mark, there was a part where he was in his room and he had on white shoes, and then
Yeah.
he came and he sat on the steps and his shoes were red.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a cartoon, right?
It is a cartoon, and
So that's
they normally don't change the wardrobes on the. So I pay attention and look to a lot of stuff like that. I'm like a nerd, so I see all that shit.
Yes, we love nerds. We love nerds.
Yeah, nerd school, baby.
Yeah, nerd school, baby. Nerd school pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. March 28th. Okay, we'll go quick. March 28th. This is the last thing I have from March.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Men's Figure Skating Championship was won by Dick Button. Yeah, Don loves it. See, that's why I say it. There's people that like shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a guy named Dick Button. Every time he does anything, I'm going to always mention it because his name is Dick Button.
And he's a figure skater.
Yeah.
He mentions him quite a lot.
How fitting.
See, thank goodness there's somebody with my sense of humor. See, this is what all this time you've made me feel like a jerk for always talking about Dick Button. But he loves it. Okay, now we're in April. Sunday, April 6th was the 16th Golf Masters Championship. Again, another name. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because Sam Snead won his second Masters golf tournament, shooting a 286. You got to know that Snoop Dogg song. My name is Sam Snead. You better recognize. There's a rapper named Sam Snead, and I think I don't know if he took it from this guy or
I'm
what.
I'm going to say he did.
Yeah,
I never knew there was a golfer. So the first time I read about a golfer in the 50s named Sam Snead, I was like, what? What? The rapper was he's that old? Wait, how is that possible?
He yanked that.
And then
Amy hates birthdays. Amy hates birthdays.
all right, so I'm gonna give you some cryptic hints about this person.
Okay.
And see if you guys can guess whose birthday it was on April. Whoops.
Quit turning off your microphone.
I've turned off my microphone. I don't know why. Hold on, let me put it back in its holster. So what day did I say it was? Sunday, April 6th, 1952. So it gives you an idea of how old they are. They're like 70. Born in Chicago, Illinois, the daughter of Loretta Callis, who died of arthritis at age 58, and Joseph Pudlowski, what was his original surname before he changed it. He died of a heart attack at age 52. This person was raised on the northwest side of Chicago in the Logan Square neighborhood, where it isn't always easy to get a taxi. She is the third of 6 children.
Is it like Judd Hirsch or somebody?
Her mother, it's a
girl.
It's a woman. Her mother was president of the National Association of Dance and Affiliated Arts and ran the Henner Dance Studio for 20 years. She took her first dance class at age 2, then went on to teaching dance in the evening shade of her life at her family studio when she was 14. That was the evening shade of her life. And she choreographed shows at local high schools and colleges until leaving the Chicago area during her 3rd year of college. This red-haired American actress, producer, radio host, podcaster, and author began her career appearing in the original production of the musical Grease in 1971.
Do we know who this is?
Do you have somebody to guess?
No.
Her last name's Henner. She's got red hair.
Oh, Mary Lou Henner.
Yes, Mary Lou Henner. Do you know who that is, Don? Mary Lou Henner.
I have no idea.
You don't need to know. I mean, really.
So if you ever watched the show Taxi, she was like the love interest for, like, she was the hot lady on Taxi.
The redhead
in the
one.
70s.
Yeah.
80s, yeah, so the red hair. So
all right.
This is Mary Lou Henner's birthday. She's now in the world. But no, and here's an interesting, this will redeem it. Did you know that Mary Lou Henner has something called hyperthymesia?
Whoa.
She has total recall memory.
I did hear this.
You have heard this?
Uh-huh.
She can remember specific details of virtually every day of her life since she was a child.
Wow.
I wish I could do that.
Sometimes
I don't.
She was on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, sometimes stuff is like kind of traumatic.
If she's got that memory, though, it's got to be other stuff she can't do. Like, she probably can't tie her shoes.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be something that she just randomly passes out or something like that. Like,
yeah, she can't make oatmeal.
Yeah. She's got to have some
I
kind
can't
of
imagine what
flow.
that would be like.
yeah, if that's true, you could probably fake it pretty easily and just make up something that you remember. But I didn't know that was even a thing that anybody could do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, neither do I, man.
It's like photographic memory or something.
Yeah. But now you know Mary Lou Henner
Yeah.
has that. She had a podcast for a while, but it's where she gave advice to people or something. But so Tuesday, April 8th, U.S. President Harry Truman seized the steel mills to prevent a strike, which I didn't know that was something you could do. So the steel mills were all on strike. It was a 1952 steel strike by the United Steelworkers of America against U.S. Steel and 9 other steel makers. The strike was scheduled to begin on April 9th, but Harry Truman nationalized the American steel industry hours before the workers walked out.
Whoa.
So the steel companies sued to regain control of their facilities. Like, you can't just nationalize the steel
Yeah, right.
companies, but he did. Like, he pulled, seems like a Trump thing. Like, Trump would do that.
Whoa.
On June 2nd, 1952, in a landmark decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company versus Sawyer that the president lacked the authority to seize the steel mills. So he did that illegally. So the steelworkers struck then to win a wage increase, and the strike lasted 53 days and ended on July 24th on essentially the same terms that the union had proposed 4 months earlier.
Oh, wow.
Whole thing for nothing.
So yeah,
wow.
So they got exactly what they wanted immediately in the beginning. So it's almost like just give the workers what they want.
Yeah, please.
You know, like, have you ever heard of people striking for anything unreasonable? Like, nobody's striking for like free blowjobs and $1 million. You know, we're striking to have a livable fucking wage. Like,
well, that's the thing. I mean, the corporate profits are obscene.
yeah,
and the little bit that they give the workers, and the profit is made off the backs of the workers, and the little that they give the workers is just ridiculous.
That's why I'm not a fan of conglomerates at all.
Yeah.
At all, man. It's terrible. I I used to be an employee in corporate America pretty much since graduation and things, and I was working for an insurance company as an adjuster, and they told us that when it came bonus time that we had a off year, so our bonuses wouldn't be as plentiful as I guess we would hope, but in a down year, the CEO clocked 17 million in a bonus.
Yeah, and a bonus. That's a bonus.
Oh
like, your bonus is more than most people make in a career sometimes.
Like, if the rich wanted to, they could solve all of our country's problems.
Oh yeah, all poverty can be eradicated just
if they wanted to.
Yeah, if they could, but capitalism always wins, though. So
yeah.
If you can keep them down.
Me.
Well, and if you don't keep them down, they're not going to work for you.
Right.
And and if they're feeling good, they'll vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's kind of a downer, but that's a crazy thing that happened that I never knew about. And then I got another birthday, but I think I might need to cancel this birthday.
Amy hates birthdays. Amy hates birthdays.
Did you look at it?
No, I mean, I saw it starts with an S.
Okay, this one I didn't realize this when I was going to do this, but this guy, I'm only doing this because the clues are going to be fun to say. So this guy's name is Stephen Frederick. He was born in Lansing, Michigan on April 10th, 1952. He was the son of a medical technician named Patricia. You could say she was hard to kill. And his dad was a high school mathematician teacher named Samuel. His mother was of Dutch, English, and German descent, while his father was the son of Russian Jews who had relocated to the U.S. when he was 5 years old. He moved with his parents to Fullerton, California, where his mother later told People magazine that prior to the move, he was frail and suffered from asthma.
God, can we just get on with it?
Well, listen though. You could say that he was frail and suffered from asthma, that he was marked for death. He was a puny kid back then, but he really thrived after the move.
Those are like movie titles, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
what
not
are those
a James
movie
Bond
titles?
fan or whatever it is.
It's not James Bond.
Is that
James Bond?
James Bond.
Is that Charles Bronson?
You're in the ballpark.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal. I had another one about. I had another one about him thinking he was above the law. I couldn't wait to say.
Ponytail.
Yeah, so Steven Seagal. But then, as I read through his bio, and I already put in all these cool clues that I couldn't wait to say, and then I found out he's
a real big asshole.
big time Me Too. Like from 96 to 2018, multiple women accused him of sexual harassment or assault. And I was gonna say he must have thought he was above the law, but now he's under siege, and those ladies are out for
God.
justice.
I see what you
But
did there.
yeah, but he's a big fucking asshole
Yeah.
that
I've
like,
heard that
Yes.
treats
about him.
women like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked because my only memories of him is like one of my first friends in middle school. Like he always rented Steven Seagal movies, and I never watched one of his movies ever. But I really understood I was like, these are terrible movies. Why are you getting all these movies that are straight to video? I was like, no, trust me, these are the most awesome movies. I was like, but there's new releases out. Why are we seeing this when we could see? And he's like, no, trust me. And we got a bunch of Steven Seagal movies. And after a while, I figured it out. It's like, okay, he's just gonna kick the shit out of 25 people every scene.
Yeah.
And
Every
he's-
scene, like 25 guys gang up on him and kills them all.
I guess it was in his contract. In every movie, he has to break at least one arm. And
Yeah.
like he's the guy who's like, oh my gosh, man, he was notorious for that.
Yeah.
His brute strength.
But I almost feel like, yeah, we should just cancel that fucking guy because he's a dick.
Yeah.
But are you really surprised that guy? He had a dojo and stuff, all this other stuff. But we'll skip it because
Yes.
Amy was getting mad about that one. We're getting there. I'm getting to yours. I'm burning through these quick.
Okay.
April 19th, the Boston Marathon was won by Doroteo Flores of Guatemala. He won the marathon in 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 53 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in life, he became a professor of physical education after his retirement. And he was a golf caddy, too, at the Guatemala Country Club.
Okay.
And April 21st. Yes, stupid bits of knowledge. So April 21st was the first Secretary's Day, now Administrative Professionals Day. And it was invented by Harry Clemfuss, who actually thought more women should be secretaries. He wanted a lot more women, because then only women could be.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some controversy about this because everybody said in 1952 it was celebrated in June, and it was later moved to April. So maybe April 21st wasn't the first Secretary's Day. So you guys might want to do some more research.
Scandal here.
Yeah,
That's
we'll have to
right.
figure that out. So I don't know. We'll just move on, though.
Yeah, I think
We'll
so.
just leave it there because you guys don't really care.
No.
April 22nd was the first atomic explosion on network news in Knob, Nevada. So
Mm-hmm. The mushroom cloud.
yeah, I'll make this quick. Before that, they were really secretive about testing, nuclear testing, and people would get secret footage and release it. So they decided we're going to just come out and show you.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did it all like on national news, and it was like everybody broke away from TV and did it. But the cameras back then were so shitty that when the flash came up, the cameras took forever to adjust, so they didn't see anything. So it was
Oh.
it was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Missed that Kodak moment.
Yeah. So they really missed a lot of it. So it was a huge mushroom cloud. And then Friday, April 25th was the 6th NBA championship. Only the 6th.
Okay.
Only the 6th NBA
Only the
championship.
6th.
You know who won this? You know who won this in 1952? You have any guesses?
Probably the Celtics, if I had to guess it.
The Minneapolis Lakers
Oh,
beat the New York Knicks. Yeah, the Lakers before they moved
to LA, and I'm a Lakers
fan. Yeah, so did you know they were in Minneapolis originally?
I did know that.
Yeah. Well, and Don, this is something that pisses me off.
Oh boy.
I've said this on probably 40 episodes.
Mm-hmm. You have.
The name should be something about your city. Like
I agree.
when the Hornets went to New Orleans, that pissed me off. But when they renamed them, that was great. But there's no lakes in LA. Fucking there's no lakes. They should be the LA Smog or something, or the LA Actors or the whatever. And there's no jazz in Utah. That's what that really. There's no jazz in Utah.
There is no jazz.
They were the New Orleans Jazz, and they should be the New Orleans Jazz. They need to switch it all up.
All right.
It should be the Utah white guys and the
Utah Mormons.
Mormons.
Yeah.
Okay, Saturday, April 26th. I'll try to make this quick. There was a U.S. minesweeper named Hobson, and it rammed an aircraft carrier called Wasp, killing 176 people. It's basically an accident. They were like, one of them lost radar. They turned and they crashed. But the captain who was driving the minesweeper actually died in the crash. So they can't really find out what happened. They just have to. They just blame him.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it's easy.
Yep. Yep. So, and then all these people, all these sailors died and were covered in oil. Even the ones they rescued were like covered in oil because it was like an oil
Ugh.
tanker.
Oh,
So,
man.
How you get that out?
You can't.
Tide
Something.
Tied with bleach.
Those
Alternative.
uniforms will never be the same.
And I think that brings us finally to your day, Amy.
Okay.
April 28th. Is that right? Or 29th?
It was something like that. All right.
So Amy's going to do a murder now, Don.
Oh.
You like murders? You like true crime?
Oh, I do. I love forensic files.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, good.
Oh, yay.
Amy's a big forensic files person.
Yeah, Amy.
And there will probably, if you play your cards right, Don, there will also be a rape.
There's no rape.
No rape.
No rape. Rape free.
Rape free. There's a rape-free
Rape-free
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
Rape-free.
Yeah.
Although I did talk about Steven Seagal, so is it really rape-free?
Not. Yeah, probably not. Okay, so I'm going to tell the story of English serial killer John Straffen.
Okay.
And I got my source is The Guardian, an article by Bob Woofenden,
Okay.
and Wikipedia.
Okay.
So John Straffen was born in Borden, Hampshire, but spent his early years in India because his dad was in the armed forces.
Okay.
So then
He was an army brat.
right. And so then they moved back to Bath, England
Okay.
after a while in 1938. From the start, John was in almost constant trouble with authorities for thefts and was sent to special schools.
Really?
In June of 1939, he first came before a juvenile court for stealing a purse from a girl and was given 2 years probation. Straffen's probation officer found that he did not understand the difference between right and wrong or the meaning of probation. So the family was living in crowded lodgings at the time,
Okay.
and Straffen's mother had no time to help in the household because she was working, so the probation officer took the boy to a psychiatrist.
Okay.
As a result, Straffen was certified as a mental defective under the Mental Deficiency Act in 1927.
A mental defective. That's what they would call
Wow.
That's what they would call him.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
effective.
Yeah.
A report was compiled on Straffen in 1940, which gave his IQ as 58 and placed his mental age at 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Okay.
So I feel like
Why he's
there's
doing all that stuff.
I feel like there's a hair on here, but I can't tell. All right.
Amy is removing pubes from the microphone.
No. All right. Straffen was noted as a solitary boy who took correction very badly.
Okay.
At 14, he was suspected of strangling 2 geese.
Oh, it's always that's it.
Always
It's the two
Animal
things:
abuse.
it's brain damage and animal abuse.
Always the kid
That
killers.
Yeah, it's always bad later.
Yep.
Although I have wanted to strangle a goose now and then.
Oh.
They're annoying.
Mhm.
At the
Yeah.
age of 16, the school
shit
authorities undertook a review which found his IQ was 64 and his mental age was 9 years, 6 months.
Oh, so he's making progress.
And they recommended his discharge at that time.
oh,
Whoa.
because
Okay.
okay, because he's a 9-year-old is all
Yeah.
you have to.
He's essentially a grown
So-
man.
Yeah.
Yep. So he goes back home and he gets work doing odd jobs.
Okay. Odd jobs.
At the same time, he starts going into unoccupied homes and stealing small items to hide them. He never took them home and he never gave them to anybody. He
Just hid him in other places.
Hide him in other places.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
He's just mischievous.
On July 27th, 1947.
Oh, the same day that New York Yankees catcher Yogi Berra started a record 148 game errorless streak.
Yes.
Yeah.
The day it started.
On that day, a girl told the police that a boy named John assaulted her and put his hand over her mouth and said, "What would you do if I killed you? I have done it before."
Ooh, that would be creepy.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
And this incident was not connected to Straffen until much later, though.
Okay,
But that was just something that happened.
that's creepy.
After wringing the necks of 5 chickens in 1947,
Oh boy.
he was certified as feeble-minded and committed to what was then termed a colony for mental defectives at Almondsbury, north of Bristol.
Oh, there's nothing more creepy than as you put it, a colony for mental defectives in the 50s.
In
Oh.
England.
Can you in England? Can you
In
imagine what that
Oh,
must have been like?
Of all
People
places.
just screaming and rocking chairs
Without
Yeah.
any clothes on,
Yeah,
for
no
some
clothes.
reason.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Picture. Have you ever seen pictures of stuff like that? Man,
Yes.
It seems scary. Just
it was
screaming.
rough back then. They treated people really bad.
Remember that? Have you seen the Geraldo one? That was like in the 70s,
No.
and it was
There's a Geraldo about
it was
that?
it was in America. God, what Wayfair Sanitarium, something like that, and it was for kids with developmental disabilities, and they were all like naked and they were just like rocking on the floor,
they
and
just
it was just like
they treated them like
feces everywhere.
they treated them
like
like they were wild animals.
Yeah.
That's
It was
horrible,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, it's bad. It was bad.
So
And that's everywhere. That's everywhere across the country. They did that.
Mm-hmm. And so when he was arrested, he was also under suspicion for burglary. And in his police interview, cheerfully confessed to it and many other incidents to which he had not been connected. Released on license in 1951, he was examined at a Bristol hospital where electroencephalograph readings showed that he had suffered wide and severe damage to the cerebral cortex, probably from an attack of encephalitis in India before the age of 6.
Oh, okay.
So there's your brain damage.
Yeah, that's where he got his brain damage.
Okay.
It's always those two things: brain
Mhm.
damage and
Animal abuse.
Animal abuse at child, young age.
Setting fires is another one.
Yeah.
Perfect
By now,
recipe.
however, I know
Yeah,
it is.
By
now, however, Straffen was considered sufficiently rehabilitated to be allowed a period of unescorted home leave. He used the time to get a job at a market garden, which he was allowed to keep. On July 15th, 1951.
Oh, the same day that Go Lucky, hosted by Jan Murray, was on CBS. It was a short-lived summer quiz show based on a parlor game called Coffee Pot. The show's sponsor was Lucky Strike Cigarettes.
Of
Go
course.
Lucky.
Of course. Yes. On that day, Straffen went to the cinema on his own.
Okay.
His route took him past 1 Camden Crescent in Bath, where 5-year-old Brenda Goddard lived with her foster parents, according to Straffen's later statement to the police. So, according to what we later find out happened.
Right.
He saw Brenda gathering flowers and offered to show her a better place. He lifted her over a fence into a copse, after which she fell and he hit her head on a stone. She was unconscious and he strangled her.
Ugh.
Straffen did not make any attempt to hide the body and simply went on to the cinema, watched the film Shockproof, and returned home.
That sounds like a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, it does.
Shockproof.
Shockproof. Yeah.
It does.
Maybe Steven Seagal is a time traveler.
Maybe he is a time traveler. Maybe we're discovering it right now.
Right.
Maybe.
And we're uncovering it. And this episode
he can't
with
because
Don
he
Garrett.
was just born. Remember, you just talked about his birthday.
Oh, he's not a time traveler because he was just born.
He was just born.
Maybe he made a movie as an infant.
Break
Yeah,
it.
no.
maybe.
No, wait. No, we're still in 1951, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So he wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
So he is a time traveler.
So he was immediately considered as a suspect in this and questioned by the police. And they also checked with his employer, and that caused him to lose his job, get fired from his job because the police were asking about him. In an interview with a psychiatrist, Straffen said that he passed the police. No, I'm sorry.
What?
He said that he was mad that the police were shadowing him and that he wanted to annoy them back. He was irritated because the police were tailing him.
Okay.
Wow.
So on August 8th, Straffen was again at the cinema when he met 9-year-old Cicely Batstone.
Oh, August 8th is when What's the Story was on the Dumont Network.
Mhm.
Did you know there was before there was CBS, NBC, and the Dumont Network?
No.
It was a whole network just called the Dumont, named after a guy named Dumont. And Dr. Alan Dumont. And it was defunct in 1956. But What's the Story was a panel of well-known newspaper columnists and other celebrities were asked to try to identify famous events from clues given by the moderator and his assistant. So it was another game show.
All right.
Anyway.
So yes, he met 9-year-old Cicely Batstone.
So he meets another child, another little girl?
Yep. He first took Cicely to a different cinema to see another film and then went on the bus to a meadow known as Tumps on the outskirts of Bath. There he strangled her to death. The circumstances of the murder left many witnesses who had seen Straffen with the girl.
At least he's not raping him.
No.
Yeah,
The bus conductor...
Look on the bright side.
Yeah.
Right.
The bus conductor recognized him as a former workmate. A courting couple in the meadow had seen him very closely.
That's a nice way to say two people fucking.
Two people fucking in a meadow had seen him very closely.
Yeah.
And a policeman's wife had also seen the two together. She mentioned it to her husband, and then when the alarm was raised the next morning, she guided police to where she had seen the two, and Cicely's body was discovered. Her description of the man was enough to identify Straffen immediately as the suspect.
Okay.
So after he was arrested, Straffen immediately confessed and was committed for trial at Taunton. However, the judge told the jury, "In this country, we do not try people who are insane. You might as well try a baby in arms." Straffen was found unfit to plead and sent to Broadmoor, which was an asylum.
Broadmoor. Huh. Okay, I feel like we've talked about that one before.
We have.
Yeah.
At about 2:40 p.m. on April 29th, 1952.
Oh, the same day that Nora Dunn from SNL was born?
Yes. He jumped over the wall and though the alarm was quickly raised, enjoyed 4 hours of freedom.
Okay.
He
escaped.
Yeah, he was pursued by 2 staff members on bicycles and recaptured about 7 miles away in Arbor Field at 6:40 p.m.
That was on Nora Dunn's birthday.
Yep. That evening at about 10:30, 5-year-old Linda Boyer was reported missing in Arbor Field. Her body was found the following morning. She too had been strangled, and naturally, almost the entire county jumped to one conclusion. And ever since that time, as a side note, there was a system of sirens to warn of any escape from Broadmoor that was set up later in 1952.
That's when they decided you needed to do that, probably.
Mm-hmm. So when Straffen stood trial, the prosecution argued that he was fit to plead. The judge agreed and also allowed the press to report everything in the absence of a jury. But then they had to abandon the trial because there was one juror who was overheard saying he thought Straffen was innocent.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the third trial begins, and Straffen is found guilty on July 25th. He's sentenced to be hanged on September 4th.
Oh.
The public, who were so against him after his escape and the murder of Linda Boyer, now all of a sudden it's like they're on his side a little bit because they're putting him to death.
What?
And like one of the doctors said, it's not the sanity of John Straffen that is in question, but the sanity of the law. And it was all because his IQ was so low.
Yeah.
That they were like, why?
Well, it'd be one thing if you had a place to put
and he was completely
like that.
insane.
That was nice.
He was completely insane. Out of his mind.
Yeah.
On August 29th, Straffen was reprieved on the grounds of insanity, which means that he's no longer.
You let him out, or you let him off trial.
He's not going to go die.
Right. You're not going to hang him. Right.
Right. In May of 1968, Straffen was moved to HM Prison Durham. Placed in top security E-wing, he was joined by fellow child killer Ian Brady, who we have already talked about. Crime author Jonathan Goodman wrote that the shambling lunatic is in prison only because no mental institution is secure enough to guarantee his confinement.
The shambling lunatic happens to be my wrestling name.
Many years later, a prison officer recalled seeing Straffen circling, banging the fence every couple of minutes, and that one fellow officer described him as aloof and hostile, never talks unless he has to ask for something, always on his own. So he did acknowledge his responsibility for the first 2 girls, but he always insisted he never killed the third girl.
Really?
And there was some evidence, like she had fingernail marks on her neck, and he had bitten his nails down to the quick.
So he never had nails.
He never had nails. And he didn't have his fingerprints on her bike that was found in the bushes.
Okay.
And there was kind of somebody that could account for where he was for almost the whole time.
So
that
maybe he didn't do that. There's another killer then.
But then again, when police questioned Straffen before they knew about the girl being missing, when they caught him, they said, "You haven't done anything bad while you were out, did you?" And he said, "I did not kill her. I did not kill the little girl on the bicycle."
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of damning. And that was before they didn't mention anything about a bicycle or a little girl. They just asked him if he'd done something bad. So in 1994, Michael Howard decided to compile a select list of about 20 prisoners serving life sentences who must never be released, and Straffen's name was said to be on it. The whole list was published by the News of the World in December 1997, and he died in HM Prison, Franklin in County Durham on November 19th, 2007 at the age of 77.
Wow, he got old.
He has been in prison for a British record of 55 years.
Really? That's a British record?
Longest. Yep.
Well, he died the same day that Kevin Dubrow from Quiet Riot, the lead singer of Quiet Riot, died.
Oh, okay.
He died of a drug overdose.
Jeez, I didn't know Quiet Riot was still doing anything in 2007.
No, they weren't. He was just still alive, but here's the sad thing about Kevin Dubrow. They didn't find him for 6 days.
No.
Yeah.
You made that up.
No, yeah. He died on November 19th, they figured out, but they didn't find him until the 25th.
Oh.
He had called a buddy and said he wanted to change his ways. He wanted to stop abusing drugs and alcohol. Then
he died.
Well, what happened is he didn't show up for Thanksgiving. Like they were all having Thanksgiving, he never showed up. That's how they found out he's dead. I went to his house, and oh my God. Can you imagine a 6-day-old dead body? What that must have smelled like?
Stench, man. Oh, that stench.
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
That would be bad.
No.
And then to cleanse our palate, I have one more thing. The last day of April. So we've done March and April now. the first toy ever advertised on television was advertised on television. You want to guess what it is, or did you see my page?
I saw it.
You want to guess what the first toy, Don, is ever
was
advertised?
I'll give him a clue.
Here's your hint. It's still made today.
And it was recently in the news as a controversy of some stupid sort.
Was it the paddle ball?
Nope. Mr. Potato Head.
Oh.
And everybody's mad now because it's now it's non-gendered.
Right.
It can be a man or a woman. Everybody's mad
just
that it's
head.
not Mr. Yeah, just Potato Head. Everybody's so
God,
mad about that.
so
How
mad.
dare you take the gender away from my potato?
How dare you let me?
How dare you degendered my potato.
How dare
I
you
want my potato with a penis and balls.
How dare
In
you
fact,
let me choose?
And not only do you not disgender it, I want a big old penis on it. I want all of my potatoes with a big giant penis and balls.
I want my potato to have a big pickle.
Yeah,
that's right. Damn it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time Mr. Potato Head.
Can you imagine if Mr. Potato Head came with those parts?
It should. It probably does come with it. There's probably people that are mad. Why didn't come with a dick and balls anymore?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, those crazy.
You put the dick on the forehead.
Yeah,
like you put it in the
you can put
place.
the dick anywhere. There really needs to be. If there isn't, why isn't there a one already?
Right in the eye socket.
Yeah, it can be both.
Yeah.
You can put a vagina on it too. Whatever. You put two vaginas, two scrotums,
There's
whatever you
probably
want.
a dirty Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, there.
And if not, we need to quit our jobs tomorrow
and make it
and create it and invent that.
Because you know that'll be at every bachelorette party.
We would be 100. I mean, we would be 100 heirs.
Well, I think the key is you also have to have, with anything like that, those like sex toys that are like gag gifts. Yeah. They actually have to also work too, because they're gag gifts, but everybody who leaves that bachelorette party is really going to use those dildos. Those dildos as a joke. Yep. They're using the hell out of those dildos.
Oh yeah. Yep.
No, it's Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, but it's got a dildo attached to it. So what I'm saying is the key to the sales is it's got to actually be usable. Also.
Oh no,
it's got to vibrate or
You're
something.
Going too far.
That's too far.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Don didn't think it was too far.
I'm right on par.
Anyway,
I'm right on par.
That's all the time we have. This has been a long episode. Sorry, but we did 2 months. We went quick.
Yeah.
Don was great.
Thank you so much for
Phog Allen.
Amy and Joe, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we love you, Don.
Love you
so
guys.
Anyway, if you're in Charlotte or the surrounding area, just check his website out. There's videos on there too, right, Don, on YouTube and stuff.
There are some videos up there. Speaking of videos, July 5th, I believe, we have a special coming to Amazon Prime. It's my good friend EJ Nonstop. We recorded his special called "I'm Sick of It." We recorded it in Allentown, Pennsylvania, last month in April. So it's slated for release on Amazon Prime in early July.
Oh, look for that! Is that what you know what that's called?
It's called
EJ Nonstop.
It's called "I'm Sick of It."
What? Oh, I'm sick of it. Yeah, check that out. Don Garrett's going to be on Amazon Prime. Oh, and you were also in a movie on Amazon Prime, a small cameo.
Yes.
I saw you.
Yes.
My friend PJ Barnes.
Yeah, shout outs to PJ and Natasha and Keith and Alicia and everybody at Screw Up TV, man. They had me as a part of that movie called All We Got. And it was me and Jonathan Bonds, man, and we had a bar scene in which we were two very saucy. So we had a lot of attitude. So
that was a little cameo. I was like, that's Don Garrett right there. Papa Don's on this show. He's at the bar. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so
it was fun.
Yeah, check out All We Got on Amazon Prime. Don's got a little spot in that, and then check out Sick of It coming out soon. You said it's coming out this summer,
5th.
July 5th.
Yep.
Oh, check that out too. That's cool. You're plugging some cool shit. And if you're ever in town, Don's normally in Charlotte, but he'll be around everywhere. Check out his website. Check out the Queen City Comedy Experience this September.
Yes.
Don will be there. Don's always good there. I think last time you just set up your podcast in the middle of the atrium. This time, John Reap's going to do that. So that'd be cool. So hopefully you'll get to be on. And you opened for John Reap before. So hopefully you'll be able to jump on his podcast in the atrium too.
Hopefully
Don,
man.
I
appreciate you, Joe and Amy, man, for having me and all you guys do. Everybody, you guys make sure keep supporting and listening to American Timelines, man. Support this awesome podcast. Support Amy and Joe, man. Queen City Comedy Experience. There's a lot of great things that's going on. So, man, I thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for being here, Don.
So
this is
much.
cool. Thanks for taking this time out. He's a busy guy.
Absolutely.
It's time to end the episode.
Yeah,
though.
time to get out of here, Chuck Berry.
Yeah, get out of here. Let Dale through. All right. Thanks, Don.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.